Hey everybody, it's Justin and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I have a super colorful birthday card to share with you using some new products from scrapbook.com. I'm going to be using the wavy nested square frames, the birthday wish shape dies, the Fresh Duo smooth cardstock, and the Hooray pattern paper. I'm going to pull out a couple patterns from the Hooray pattern paper collection, and primarily I'm going to be using this rainbow balloon background. In addition to the rainbow balloon background pattern, I am also pulling out this cream colored, almost like plus sign sprinkles pattern as well. For the Fresh Duo smooth cardstock, I'm pulling out a full rainbow of colors that we're going to work with. So you're going to see me pull a soft blue, a dark green. You're going to see me pull out two different shades of yellow. So it's going to be the light yellow and the dark yellow. Actually, because it's duo cardstock, the paper is double-sided, so it's light and dark. We're also going to use an orange color, a sort of coral color, and then lastly, we're going to pull in a pink color for that full rainbow of birthday candles we are going to create for today's card. Next, I'm going to pull in the nested wavy square frames, and we are going to die cut some shapes out of the pink cardstock that we had pulled in the previous step. So I am going to die cut the pink cardstock using one of the nested dies that's included, tacking it down with some mint tape, and then putting it through my die cutting machine. I am also going to use that cream colored plus side sprinkle background and select the nested frame that fits perfectly inside the frame on the pink pattern paper, and we'll use that to die cut as well. Now, because these dies are nested, that means that they are going to stack perfectly on top of one another, and it's just going to make your crafting so much more clean cut looking. I am going to take this unit and then I am going to pull in some shaded lilac distress ink, and using a mini ink blending tool, this one's by Altenew, I am going to distress all four edges of this wavy square. This is going to be the only ink blending I'm doing on this project, and I just thought it was a nice way to pull in a little bit of purple and to just make the colors just a little bit more with this sprinkle background. So once I'm satisfied with my ink blending, I am going to take my liquid adhesive and I'm going to adhere my ink blended panel on top of the nested pink panel that's slightly larger. And as you can see, we are going to get a really nice wavy pink frame. Using opaque white liquid paper splatter by Picket Fence Studios, I am going to drop a couple bits onto my scrapbook.com acrylic block. I am going to pick it up with a clean watercolor brush, and then I'm going to splatter that opaque white paper splatter onto both panels, and this is just going to give it a little bit of interest and a little extra detail. I'm going to set those panels aside to dry, and then I'm going to pull in the birthday wish shape dies, and I'm going to die cut out the birthday candle along with the flame and the sparkler die, just so I can create a handful of different candles for today's project. Now I am going to remove each of these dies, setting them off to the side so that I have everything ready to go. I'm not using any other dies that are included with the birthday wish shape die set, but there are so many fun elements that you could use to create your birthday cards with. Now, this is the portion of the project where all of those colors of Fresh Duo smooth cardstock are going to come in. I am going to die cut the birthday candles from each of the colors, and then in addition to that, I'm going to die cut the sparkler from the light yellow and the flame from the darker yellow paper. So I am tacking all of my dies down with cement tape, and off camera I do multiple passes through my die cutting machine to get a full tray of die cut images to use for our project. Now I did add in some purple paper as well from the Fresh Duo paper pad that I had pulled after the fact. Using liquid adhesive, I am going to adhere a sparkler top and a flame top to each of the colors because I did die cut candles from two of each color. So I've got two green candles, one will have that sparkler top, one will have that flame top. Now, in full transparency, I don't end up using all of these candles. I only end up using one of each color, but I do have a card that I had created and I will share at a later date that uses those extra candles. When I'm finished with the assembly of the candles, I have a full tray of rainbow birthday candles that are going to be ready to put on a card. Now, using the Happy Birthday stamp set and coordinating dies, I am pulling out one of the smaller Happy Birthday sentiments, and we are going to stamp it onto that purple paper that I had pulled off camera from the Fresh Duo Smooth Cardstock pack. We are going to stamp it down using embossing watermark ink. This is by Pink and Main, and I am going to stamp it until I'm happy with the complete impression. And then once I feel I've gotten enough coverage, I am going to use some frosting embossing powder, also by Pink and Main, to heat emboss this sentiment. I like that the white frosting embossing powder is really going to stand out super nice against this fuchsia purple cardstock that I had pulled. I think that white cardstock works the best on darker papers just because it's a really nice contrast. With my sentiment fully heat embossed, I can now use the Happy Birthday coordinating die set to cut out the Happy Birthday sentiment. That's one thing I love about this Happy Birthday stamp set, is that all the coordinating dies really allow you to get nice cuts around all of the sentiments. I also think that this stamp set is just genius because it's a bunch of different designs on how you can just say Happy Birthday, which is at the end of the day like the most common type of card you're going to be creating. So once I have my sentiment all die cut out, I am going to take my nested wavy frame unit, and then I'm going to adhere all of my birthday candles to it. But I want you to watch and see how I'm doing it, because I sometimes struggle with spacing out my projects evenly. So what I am going to do is actually do these in segments. So I am putting on each sides, I'm going to be using 7 candles total, and 4 of them are going to have the sparkler tops. So on the far ends, I'm doing a yellow sparkler on one end and then a green sparkler on the other. I'm almost viewing like the green as the start line and the yellow as the finish line. And because I'm adding 2 more sparkle top candles, I want them to be evenly spaced. So mentally, I'm mapping out a way that one of them is going to be at like the 1/3 mark, and then the next is going to be at the 2/3 mark. So it's like 0/3, 1/3, 2/3, and then finally 3/3. Then I'm going to have 3 gaps between each of the candles, and I have 3 more candles to fill it in that have a regular flame. So I just need to make sure that each of the candles is nicely fitted inside of each of the gaps between the sparkle candles. And then even though I put these in a little lopsided, I know that they're essentially nicely spaced out enough that it's not going to look too much like a cluster. Using some 3mm foam tape strips by Scrapbook.com, I am going to use this on the back of my Happy Birthday sentiment so that I can give it a little bit of lift, just to give it some focal points, because there's so many colors going on with this project. I do want to make sure that this Happy Birthday sentiment stands out nicely. So I am going to remove the back of the foam tape strips, and then I am going to try and pop it as centered as I can onto this nested wavy square unit that we have all of our birthday candles on. Using a liquid adhesive, I am going to go ahead and adhere this to my rainbow birthday balloon background. And I love that all of these colors coordinate so nicely with all the different colors of balloons that are on this paper. I just love that sort of color combination when everything coordinates nicely. And I love that with Scrapbook.com papers, you can mix and match different pads to get that effect. So once I have my wavy nested square unit in place, I use liquid adhesive to adhere my card panel to the card base. And then we just have one final step that we have to worry about, and that's adding some embellishments. I like to add embellishments after I put my panel onto a card base, because then I make my embellishments the absolute last step. And I actually like to put down a couple dots of liquid adhesive first, and then put the sparkles or sequins or whatever embellishment you're using into place. These are silver sparkle spots by Trinity Stamps that I'm using. There are so many fun colors of these, and I'm slowly adding them all to my collection. I do think that the silver and gold, though, are my favorites. But with those in place, my card is fully completed, and a lot of rainbow colorfulness is ready to be mailed off to celebrate a friend's birthday. Now, thank you so very much for stopping by my YouTube channel today for some fun and colorful inspiration. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and use the links below if any of these products that I used inspired you to shop today. Thank you once again for stopping by, and happy crafting. Goodbye.